Hey everyone, welcome back to SwitchTop. Today, we're looking at 30 games that earned perfect 10 out of 10 scores on the Nintendo Switch. These are games that absolutely delivered on every front and gave us experiences we won't forget. From racing, to action, to deep RPGs, these titles show what the Switch can really do. Let's jump into it. Absolum stands out as one of the most impressive action roguelites on Nintendo Switch, blending fast, beat-em-up combat with a steady progression loop that keeps each run fresh. You move through handcrafted areas filled with enemies that push you to mix physical combos with a wide range of magical abilities, creating a rhythm that feels aggressive but still tactical. Each of the 4 playable characters brings a distinct combat style, from heavy close-range strikes to agile mobility or spell-focused builds, giving the game a lot of variety across repeated attempts. The world itself has a strong identity, carried by expressive, hand-drawn animation and a rich fantasy atmosphere supported by a powerful soundtrack. Runs evolve through items, upgrades, and branching paths that encourage experimentation, and the option to jump into co-op adds another layer of fun when you want to tackle the challenge with a friend. While the roguelite structure demands patience and a willingness to repeat encounters, the overall flow remains rewarding thanks to tight controls and impactful feedback during combat. Octopath Traveler 2 follows 8 different characters across the continent of Celestia, each with their own complete story, ranging from a dancer seeking revenge to a scholar hunting forbidden knowledge. You can start with any character and recruit the others in any order you want. The turn-based combat uses a break system, where you discover enemy weaknesses and exploit them to break their defense, leaving them vulnerable to massive damage. Each character has unique path actions they can use in towns. The thief can steal items from NPCs, the hunter can provoke people into battles, and the dancer can allure townspeople to follow her. The HD 2D graphics blend beautiful pixel art characters with detailed 3D environments and lighting effects that look absolutely stunning. Your party can equip secondary jobs to mix and match abilities, creating powerful combinations. The day and night cycle changes which NPCs appear in towns and which path actions you can use. Boss battles require real strategy as you figure out their patterns and weaknesses. The soundtrack is phenomenal, with each character having their own musical themes. It's a meaty JRPG that respects your time while still offering 60 to 80 hours of content across all 8 stories.
Prepare yourself. My blade sings. It's my turn. I'll cut you down.
Dragon Quest I and II HD 2D Remake brings 2 foundational JRPG adventures into a modern format with a style that blends classic pixel charm and rich lighting, making towns, fields, and dungeons feel alive without losing their retro identity. The reworked pacing helps both games flow more smoothly thanks to faster battles, clearer navigation, and quality-of-life tweaks that reduce frustration while keeping the original challenge intact. Combat still leans toward a traditional turn-based rhythm, but improved auto-battle options and better spell management make encounters quicker and less grind-heavy, especially during long stretches of exploration. Both stories keep their simple, adventurous tone, supported by new cutscenes and refreshed dialogue that give characters more warmth. The orchestral soundtrack adds emotional weight, giving familiar themes a fresh impact. Even with occasional repetition and some straightforward early game battles, the unified presentation, remastered environments, and thoughtful mechanical updates create an experience that feels both nostalgic and refreshed. Kirby Air Riders delivers a fast, chaotic style of racing built around simple controls and playful vehicle design, creating a game that focuses more on momentum and strategy than technical driving. Every machine handles differently, from light gliders to heavy bruisers, and the constant forward motion keeps races energetic as you drift, boost, and trade hits with rivals. The highlight is its expanded take on City Trial, where you roam a large map collecting upgrades before facing a final event. It works especially well in multiplayer, giving each run a sense of unpredictability. Traditional race modes offer quick action with bright visuals and expressive animations that give tracks a lively feel, even if the layouts are simpler than typical kart racers. Progression comes from unlocking new machines and cosmetics, pushing players to experiment with builds that change how each vehicle behaves. Some matches can feel overwhelming due to visual effects and the game's frantic speed, but that intensity is part of its charm, especially for those who enjoy party-style chaos. Dead Cells throws you into the role of a sentient blob of cells, possessing a headless corpse in a constantly changing island prison. You're trying to escape, while uncovering why everyone is dead or mutated, and what happened to the king. Each run takes you through procedurally generated levels, filled with enemies, traps, and secrets. The combat is fast and responsive. You have 2 weapon slots and 2 skill slots that you can fill with swords, whips, bows, grenades, turrets, and dozens of other options. Between each level, you choose which path to take, with some routes being harder but offering better rewards. When you die, you lose most of your progress, but keep permanent upgrades and unlocked blueprints for new gear. The progression system gives you cells from defeated enemies that you spend on permanent upgrades before each boss. You'll unlock new paths through levels, new starting weapons, and mutations that change your abilities. The more you play, the more the game opens up, with multiple difficulty levels and branching routes. Combat requires learning enemy patterns, parrying attacks, and using your environment with breakable floors and explosive barrels. Monster Hunter Rise sends you to Kamura Village, a hunting outpost recovering from a disaster called the Rampage, where hordes of monsters attacked the village. As a hunter, you take quests to hunt down large monsters threatening the region, while uncovering why the rampages are happening. The core gameplay loop involves tracking monsters, fighting them, breaking their parts, and carving materials to craft better weapons and armor. Rise introduces wire bugs that let you zip through the air, perform aerial attacks, and pull off special silkbind moves unique to each weapon type. Your Palamute dog companion lets you ride it around maps for faster travel, and can even join fights alongside your Palico cat buddy. The 14 weapon types each play completely differently, from the quick dual blades to the slow but devastating greatsword, the long-range bow, or the technical switch axe. You'll spend time learning monster behavior patterns, figuring out which parts to target, and when to attack versus when to dodge. The crafting system lets you build multiple armor sets with different skills for various situations. Multiplayer lets you team up with up to 3 other hunters for even more chaotic battles. A short hike puts you in the role of Claire, a young bird visiting Hawk Peak Provincial Park, who needs to reach the mountain summit to get cell phone reception for an important call. That simple setup leads to one of gaming's most chill and heartwarming experiences. You explore the island at your own pace, talking to quirky animal characters, helping them with small tasks, and just enjoying the scenery. Movement is simple. You can walk, run, climb surfaces, and glide through the air. Golden feathers scattered around the island increase your stamina, letting you climb higher and glide farther. There's no time limit or pressure, just pure exploration and discovery. You might play volleyball on the beach, go fishing, find hidden treasure, race another character down the mountain, or just sit and watch the sunset. The art style uses a pixelated filter that somehow makes everything feel cozy and nostalgic. You can turn the pixel effect off if you prefer smoother visuals. The soundtrack is relaxing and changes based on what you're doing and where you are. Side activities reward you with coins you can spend on items and upgrades. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 stands as one of the most ambitious JRPGs on the Switch, weaving a powerful narrative about 2 rival factions whose young soldiers slowly realize their conflict hides deeper truths. The story carries a strong emotional core, driven by a cast that grows more complex as their relationships evolve, and the writing balances heavy themes with moments of warmth that make the journey feel personal. Exploration is a major highlight. Ionios is a vast world filled with striking landscapes, hidden areas, and memorable creatures, rewarding players who like wandering off the main path. Combat builds on the series' signature real-time system, adding class swapping, chain attacks, and multi-character coordination that give battles a sense of constant motion and strategic depth. It starts dense, but once systems click, fights feel fluid and satisfying, especially when you tailor classes to create strong team synergies. The soundtrack adds emotional weight, with sweeping orchestral pieces and quieter melodies that elevate both story scenes and exploration. While its scope can feel overwhelming, and some mechanics may take time to master, the overall experience remains engaging thanks to its strong characters, rich world building, and carefully paced progression.
Unstoppable with you around, Senna.
I'm the girl with the gall.
Unicorn Overlord delivers a rich, tactical experience that blends classic strategy elements with a modern sense of momentum and freedom. You command small squads across an overworld that opens gradually as you liberate territories, and each region introduces new story threads, allies, and side challenges that invite exploration instead of forcing a strict path. Combat unfolds in a hybrid style. You position units on a real-time map, but once they clash, battles resolve through automated actions shaped by your preset tactics, class synergies, and equipment choices. This creates a satisfying loop where smart preparation matters as much as on-field decisions, rewarding players who experiment with formations and complementary roles. The cast grows steadily, offering a variety of classes that keep team building fresh, from sturdy frontline fighters to specialized support units that can completely change how a squad functions. Visuals lean into a hand-painted fantasy look, giving characters sharp silhouettes and expressive animations that keep large battles easy to follow. The game's pacing is flexible, letting you focus on main objectives or roam freely to strengthen your army through optional skirmishes and quests.
Forward! Brace yourself!
Does this suit you?
Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door on Switch delivers one of the most charming and polished RPG experiences in the Mario universe, combining witty writing, memorable characters, and clever humor with a layered, turn-based combat system. Battles feel simple at first, but reward timing, strategy, and thoughtful use of badges and partners, keeping encounters engaging throughout the adventure. The world of Rogueport is vibrant and full of personality, with varied environments that encourage exploration and discovery, and side quests that add depth without feeling forced. Visuals embrace the iconic papercraft style, enhanced with lighting and effects that bring the characters and settings to life, while the reorchestrated soundtrack adds emotional resonance to both story moments and battles. Quality of life improvements streamline movement, partner switching, and navigation, reducing frustration without compromising challenge, though some backtracking and occasional difficulty spikes remain. The story balances whimsy with darker undertones, weaving a narrative that is surprisingly rich for a Mario title, and character interactions are consistently entertaining and heartfelt. Astral Chain is a wild sci-fi action game from Platinum Games, where you play as a rookie cop in a special task force, fighting interdimensional monsters invading Earth. Humanity has retreated into a massive, futuristic city called the Ark, and these creatures, called chimeras, are breaking through portals to attack. You control both your character and a tethered legion, basically a captured monster bound to you at the same time. The combat feels like conducting an orchestra, because you're moving your character with one stick while positioning your legion with the other, wrapping enemies in your chain, yanking them around, and coordinating attacks. There are 5 different legions to unlock, each with unique abilities like the Sword Legion for offense, the Arm Legion for defense, or the Beast Legion for tracking and exploration. Between action sequences, you investigate crime scenes by examining evidence, questioning witnesses, and using your Legion's special senses to find clues. The game switches between intense combat sections and detective work that actually feels meaningful instead of just filler.
I need backup ASAP. I found someone who needs evac. We've got an officer down. Someone come give me a hand over here.
Kirby in the Forgotten Land takes the pink puffball into full 3D for the first time in a mainline game. And honestly, it's about time. The story starts when Kirby gets pulled through a portal to a post-apocalyptic world where nature has reclaimed abandoned buildings and cities. The villain Fecto Forgo has kidnapped all the Waddle Dees from Dreamland, and Kirby teams up with a mysterious protector named Elfilin to save them. You explore detailed 3D environments while using Kirby's classic copy abilities to inhale enemies and steal their powers. The new Mouthful mode lets Kirby stretch his mouth around huge objects like cars, vending machines, and water towers to gain unique abilities, driving a car to ram through obstacles or becoming a giant ring to roll through levels. Combat is simple but satisfying as you mix regular attacks, copy abilities, and environmental interactions to take down enemies. Each level has hidden Waddle Dees to rescue by completing objectives like finishing within a time limit or finding secret areas. You use rescued Waddle Dees to rebuild the hub town, unlocking shops and minigames. Hades has you playing as Zagreus, the son of Hades, and he's trying to escape the underworld to find his mom on the surface. Every run, you battle through randomly generated rooms filled with monsters, collecting power-ups from the Olympian gods along the way. Here's the genius part when you die, and you will die a lot. You wake up back in the House of Hades, and the story continues. NPCs remember what happened, relationships develop, and you slowly piece together this incredible family drama involving the Greek pantheon. The combat is fast and smooth. You pick one of 6 weapons that all feel completely different. Then each run, you get random boons from gods like Zeus, Athena, or Dionysus that modify your abilities in wild ways. One run, you might have lightning that chains between enemies. Next run, you're causing hangover damage over time. The combinations are endless, and experimenting is half the fun. Between runs, you're upgrading permanent stats, unlocking new weapons, and deepening relationships with characters by giving them nectar. The writing is phenomenal, witty, emotional, and every character is memorable. The voice acting and music are top tier.
Was for last time.
Dragon Quest XI's is a classic JRPG through and through. You're a young guy who discovers he's the reincarnation of an ancient hero called the Luminary. Problem is, the king declares you're actually the Darkspawn, who'll destroy the world. So you're on the run, trying to prove your true identity and stop the actual evil threatening everything. You travel across a massive world with a party of characters who all have their own storylines and development. The turn-based combat is traditional but refined. You're selecting commands, managing MP, using items, and making tactical decisions about who to target and when to defend. Each character has a skill tree where you invest points to unlock new abilities and stat boosts. You can forge and upgrade equipment at campsites, and there's a fun minigame where you ride monsters in races. The world is gorgeous, especially in the Switch version, which gives you the option to play with orchestral music and added story content. There are dozens of side quests, a casino with minigames, and hidden bosses to discover. The story takes some dark turns, but maintains a hopeful tone throughout. It's a long game, easily 80 to 100 hours if you do side content, but it never drags.
Get him! Plums! Fight and fight some more! Go on!
Mario Kart World reimagines the classic racing formula by turning traditional tracks into an interconnected open world where races flow seamlessly between biomes, from forests and mountains to cities and waterways. Up to 24 racers compete at once, creating chaotic, high-energy moments that reward careful timing, smart use of items, and mastery of new mechanics like wall jumps, rail grinds, and skimming across surfaces. Exploration is integrated into the experience. In free roam, players can discover shortcuts, hidden items, and secrets, making the world feel alive rather than a series of isolated races. Modes like Grand Prix, Knockout Tour, and Free Roam offer variety for both competitive and casual play, while online options and social features add an extra layer of replayability. The visuals are polished, with expressive environments, dynamic lighting, and smooth animations that keep races readable despite the chaos. While some tracks can feel empty and certain open areas underpopulated, the sheer scale and ambition of the interconnected courses make each race feel like an event.
Depending on the time of day and weather conditions, the atmosphere will change. And in this Mario Kart game, you can go off the racetrack and drive virtually everywhere in this world.
Fire Emblem Three Houses puts you in the role of a mercenary who becomes a professor at a military academy. The continent is divided between 3 nations, and the academy has a house representing each one. You pick which house to teach the Black Eagles, Blue Lions, or Golden Deer, and this choice completely changes your story because the game's second half revolves around a war between these factions. You're teaching students, building relationships, and leading them in tactical turn-based battles. The monastery serves as your hub where you explore, talk to students, do side activities like fishing and choir practice, and prepare for the next mission. Combat is grid-based strategy. You position units, consider weapon advantages, manage limited resources, and keep your students alive because permadeath is real. You can rewind turns if someone dies, which makes the game more forgiving than older Fire Emblems. Students can be recruited from other houses if you build relationships with them, and you guide their class progression by training them in different weapons and skills. The first half is slice-of-life academy stuff mixed with battles. Then the time skip hits and everything changes. Super Mario Galaxy plus Super Mario Galaxy 2 on Switch bring 2 of the most inventive and magical 3D platformers together, delivering a cosmic adventure that feels fresh even years after their original launch. Both games thrive on imaginative level design, with planets, asteroids, and miniature worlds that bend gravity and constantly surprise, offering moments of pure wonder and playful challenge. The HD remaster sharpens visuals, making colorful environments, character models, and effects pop, while orchestral tracks provide a cinematic, emotionally resonant backdrop that elevates both exploration and action. Gameplay balances tight platforming, momentum, and creative puzzles, with each world introducing unique mechanics that keep progression engaging and varied. Assist options and refined controls make the experience approachable for newcomers without reducing the depth that longtime fans appreciate. Though some gyro-based precision can feel different from the original Wii controls. Collecting Power Stars, discovering secrets, and mastering challenging sequences rewards curiosity and skill, while subtle story touches and lore give context to Mario's interstellar journey. Hollow Knight drops you into Hallownest, this massive underground kingdom of bugs that's fallen into ruin. You're a small, silent knight exploring the depths, and the story unfolds entirely through environmental storytelling, NPC dialogue, and item descriptions. The kingdom fell because of an infection called the Radiance, and you're slowly piecing together what happened while getting deeper into increasingly dangerous areas. It's a Metroidvania, so you start with basic abilities, you can slash with your nail, heal using soul energy, and jump. As you explore, you gain new powers like wall jumping, dashing, and additional spells. These abilities open up new areas and shortcuts back through old zones. The combat is tough but fair. Enemies have patterns you learn, and boss fights are intense tests of skill. You collect charms throughout the world that you can equip in limited slots to customize your playstyle. Some charms give you more health, others boost your damage, some change how your spells work. The map system is unique. You find the map maker in each area, buy the map, then fill it in yourself by exploring and placing markers. The world is interconnected with tons of secrets, hidden areas, and optional bosses. Metroid Prime Remastered is the first-person adventure where you play as Samus Aran investigating a distress signal on planet Talon 4. A space pirate frigate has crashed, and you quickly discover they were experimenting with a mutagen called Phazon that's corrupting everything. Samus gets attacked early on and loses all her abilities, so you're gradually reacquiring powers while exploring this interconnected alien world. The game is part shooter, part exploration, part puzzle solving. You scan objects and enemies to fill out lore entries that explain the world's history. The Morph Ball lets you roll through small spaces and drop bombs. You'll get missiles, different beam weapons, visors that let you see different things, and mobility upgrades like the space jump. Each upgrade opens new paths through areas you've already visited. The world design is incredible. It all connects in logical ways with shortcuts and fast travel points. Boss fights are pattern-based puzzles where you figure out weaknesses and exploit them. The atmosphere is lonely and mysterious. You're isolated on this dying planet, uncovering ancient civilizations. Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles on Switch delivers one of the most satisfying tactical RPG experiences available, combining deep strategy, rich storytelling, and immersive world-building. Set in the politically fraught kingdom of Ivalice, the story follows noble families, betrayal, and warfare, weaving personal character arcs into a broader conflict that feels grounded and compelling. Combat is a masterclass in tactical design, with grid-based maps, varied terrain, and turn order management forcing careful planning and adaptation. Over 20 job classes provide immense flexibility, allowing players to experiment with combinations and develop unique team strategies. The remastered visuals strike a balance between nostalgic charm and modern clarity, making characters, spells, and battlefield effects readable and appealing. Quality of life enhancements such as refined menus, adjustable difficulty options, and improved camera controls make the game approachable without diluting its challenge. Battles remain rewarding and sometimes punishing, encouraging mastery of mechanics and tactical foresight. While occasional voice acting inconsistencies and steep difficulty spikes appear, they do little to diminish the overall experience. Look, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the ultimate kart racer, and honestly, it's not even close. There's no real story, it's just the Nintendo crew and friends racing across 48 tracks, including retro courses from older games. The anti-gravity sections let you drive on walls and ceilings, which completely changes how tracks are designed. You've got 42 characters to choose from and a bunch of kart customization options that actually affect your stats. Different combinations of bodies, wheels, and gliders change your speed, acceleration, handling, and weight. The item game is perfectly balanced chaos. Blue shells still hurt when you're in first place, but skilled players can hold items behind them as shields or time mushrooms for shortcuts. Battle mode got a complete overhaul with actual arenas instead of just racetracks, and modes like Balloon Battle and Bomb Blast are legitimately fun with friends. Online play is smooth and the matchmaking works well, but honestly, the local multiplayer is where this game shines. 4-player split screen and handheld mode, or up to 12 players with multiple switches. The tracks are creative, from underwater sections to a track inside a literal anti-gravity rainbow tunnel. Celeste follows Madeline, a young woman dealing with anxiety and depression who decides to climb Celeste Mountain despite everyone warning her it's too dangerous. The mountain is sort of supernatural. It manifests your inner demons as physical obstacles. And part of Madeline's journey involves literally confronting a darker version of herself. The platforming is incredibly tight and precise. You can jump, dash once in midair, and climb walls for a limited time before your stamina runs out. That's it, those 3 moves. But the game builds increasingly complex challenges around this simple moveset. You'll die constantly, and I mean hundreds of times. But respawns are instant and checkpoints are generous, so it never feels unfair. Each chapter introduces new mechanics, like moving blocks, bouncy clouds, or feathers that let you fly temporarily. The difficulty curve is perfect. It teaches you mechanics naturally through level design rather than tutorials. There are also B-side levels that are brutally hard, for masochists like me who want the extra challenge. The pixel art is gorgeous, with detailed backgrounds and smooth character animation. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition on Switch 2 delivers a sprawling, content-rich RPG experience that brings the neon-soaked world of Night City into the palm of your hands. Players explore a dense urban environment filled with diverse districts, each brimming with side missions, secrets, and characters whose stories feel personal and impactful. The game balances first-person combat, hacking, and stealth, while deep RPG mechanics allow for character customization, skill trees, cybernetic upgrades, and varied playstyles that meaningfully change how encounters unfold. The Phantom Liberty expansion adds narrative depth, new areas, and additional gameplay layers, seamlessly integrated into the main world. Controls are adapted for the hybrid platform, with gyro aiming, motion support, and optimized layouts, though some sequences demand patience to master. Visuals are surprisingly impressive for a handheld-capable system, with detailed cityscapes, dynamic lighting, and weather effects that enhance immersion, while performance generally holds steady even in complex, densely populated areas.
Manifest from the transport. Of course I do. The fixer didn't give you the job deeds?
He did. I was just making sure.
Listen, friend. We're both professionals, ain't we?
Persona 5 Royal has you playing as a high school student who moves to Tokyo after getting falsely accused of assault. You discover the ability to enter a cognitive world called the Metaverse, where people's twisted desires manifest as palaces. With a group of friends facing their own injustices, you become the Phantom Thieves, who steal the corrupt hearts of terrible adults by infiltrating their palaces. It's split between dungeon crawling and daily life simulation. During the day, you attend school, build relationships with confidants, study, work part-time jobs, or explore Tokyo. At night, you infiltrate palaces or grind in randomly generated dungeons. The turn-based combat revolves around exploiting enemy weaknesses to knock them down, which gives you extra turns. You summon personas, manifestations of your psyche based on mythological figures, and confuse them together to create stronger ones. Time management is crucial since you have limited days to complete each palace, while also maintaining your social stats and relationships. Building confidant relationships isn't just for story. They unlock powerful abilities and strengthen your personas.
Vishnu! Ravage them!
Immune to curse. I had hoped we could end this quickly.
Do it!
Not there yet.
The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild starts with Link waking up after sleeping for 100 years in a resurrection shrine. Calamity Ganon destroyed Hyrule a century ago, corrupted the guardians and divine beasts that were meant to protect the kingdom, and killed the champions controlling them. Zelda has been holding Ganon back inside Hyrule Castle ever since, and Link needs to regain his strength and memories to finish the fight. The genius here is the complete freedom. After the tutorial area, you can literally go fight Ganon immediately if you want. The entire map is open from the start. You climb anything, glide anywhere with your paraglider, and explore at your own pace. Shrines scattered across the world give you puzzles to solve and reward spirit orbs that increase your health or stamina. The 4 divine beasts are dungeon-like challenges that give you abilities to help in the final battle, but they're optional. Combat is about improvisation. Weapons break after enough use, so you're constantly grabbing new gear from enemies. You can use the environment too, setting grass on fire to create updrafts, rolling boulders onto enemy camps, or using metal objects with magnesis to smash things. Cooking combines ingredients for meals that restore health or provide buffs. Super Mario Odyssey has Bowser kidnapping Peach again, but this time he's planning to force her into marriage, and he's traveling the world collecting items for the ceremony. After Bowser destroys Mario's hat, our hero teams up with Cappy, a ghost hat whose sister was also kidnapped to be Peach's wedding tiara. Together, they chase Bowser across different kingdoms in the Odyssey airship. The revolutionary mechanic is capturing you throw Cappy onto enemies and objects to possess them and use their abilities. You can become a T-Rex and wreck everything, turn into a bullet bill to fly across gaps, possess a Goomba stack, or even take over that tank shooting at you. Each kingdom is like a big sandbox filled with power moons. There are over 800 total, some obvious, others incredibly hidden. You need a certain number to power the Odyssey and move forward, but collecting them all is where the real game begins. Mario controls beautifully with a ton of movement tech like the roll jump, dive, and ground pound jump that let you chain together for crazy distances. Some kingdoms are huge open areas, while others are more focused platforming challenges. Hollow Knight Silksong switches things up by putting you in control of Hornet, the princess protector from the first game, who wakes up in a strange new kingdom called Farloom after being captured and taken there. She's at the bottom of this kingdom built vertically into a mountain, and she needs to ascend to the top while uncovering why she was brought here and what's really happening in Farloom. Unlike the Knight's Nail, Hornet fights with a needle and thread, which changes combat significantly. She's faster and more aggressive with different combos and abilities. The thread can be used to bind enemies, create traps, and solve puzzles in ways the original game didn't allow. You're exploring interconnected areas in true Metroidvania style, gaining new abilities that open up previously inaccessible paths. The structure has you ascending through different biomes, each with unique enemies, bosses, and environmental hazards. There are towns with NPCs who give quests and have their own stories that interweave with the main plot. The bench system returns for save points, and the combat is similarly challenging but fair. Enemies telegraph attacks, and you learn patterns through observation. Instead of charms, Hornet has different tools and weapons she can equip and swap between. Hades' two shifts focus to Melinoe, the daughter of Hades and younger sister to Zagreus from the first game. She was raised by Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft, specifically to defeat Kronos, the titan of time who has escaped his prison and taken over the underworld. Unlike Zagreus trying to escape, Melinoe is attempting to break into the underworld from the surface to save her family. The combat feels familiar but distinct. Melinoe uses magic more prominently, with different weapons like a witch's staff and ritual daggers. The boon system returns, where Olympian gods offer power-ups during your run, but now you also have an entirely new cast, including Apollo, Hephaestus, and other gods not in the first game. Between runs, you're at a magical training ground, rather than the House of Hades, gathering resources to unlock permanent upgrades and further the story. The relationship building that made the first game special is back, with new characters and deeper interactions. Melinoe can venture to the surface world as well as the underworld, giving you two distinct sets of environments and challenges. New mechanics include incantations you craft using gathered resources that provide persistent benefits across runs. Donkey Kong Bananza on Switch 2 reinvents the classic DK formula with a focus on destruction, exploration, and creative freedom. Players navigate vast, layered environments, from canyons and forests to tundra, smashing walls, terrain, and obstacles to uncover secrets, collectibles, and hidden pathways. The Bananergy system allows DK to transform into unique forms, like a speedy zebra DK or flying ostrich DK, introducing varied movement and combat mechanics that keep gameplay fresh. Collectibles, such as Banandium gems, let you upgrade abilities, while costumes and customization options provide playful personalization for DK and Pauline. Co-op adds another dimension. One player controls DK, while the other uses Pauline's abilities to manipulate the environment or assist in combat, creating dynamic teamwork opportunities. A hidden creative mode lets players sculpt or paint 3D models, adding optional depth for explorers and tinkerers. Visuals and animations are polished, making destruction satisfying and the environments feel lively, while exploration rewards curiosity and experimentation. Though the ambitious levels and physics-heavy gameplay occasionally challenge performance, the core loop of smashing, transforming, and discovering remains engaging.
Tear off. Grab a chunk of terrain and tear it off. Or tear up turnips to find items. And even tear chunks off your foes. Swing!
The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom on Switch delivers a staggering open-world adventure that elevates exploration, creativity, and discovery to unprecedented heights. Hyrule has been reimagined as a multi-layered world, combining sprawling surface landscapes with floating sky islands and vast underground depths, each brimming with secrets, puzzles, and opportunities for experimentation. Link's new abilities, including Ultra Hand, Fuse, and Recall, empower players to interact with the world in inventive ways, building contraptions, manipulating objects, and solving challenges with endless approaches. The game emphasizes freedom, letting players chart their own path, tackle side quests, and discover hidden treasures at their own pace, making every exploration feel unique and rewarding. Visuals are vibrant and detailed, with environments that feel alive and reactive, while the orchestral soundtrack and environmental design create an immersive, emotional backdrop for the adventure. While performance occasionally dips in particularly dense or physics-heavy areas, the core experience remains smooth and engaging. The narrative balances mystery, emotional depth, and subtle storytelling, giving weight to player choices and discoveries. And that's our list of 30 perfect games on the Nintendo Switch. Each one of these games absolutely deserves that 10 out of 10 score for different reasons. Whether you love tactical combat, exploration, fast action, or deep stories, there's something here for you. What games would you give a perfect score? Drop your picks in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think earned that 10 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo Switch content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.